Hello everyone. If you're watching this, you missed day 1 of our week 11 lecture for Foundations of Tech. Let's go ahead and get into it. So this week we are working on Tinkercad. We're finishing up our drawing unit and we're going to be starting in on simple machines next week. We have 2 assignments. Assignment 18 due Wednesday the 11th and assignment 19, due Friday the 13th. Let's go ahead and take a look at what these things are. We are going to be using Tinkercad to visualize three-dimensional shapes. We're going to extend our understanding of orthographic projection, and we're going to use all tools available to us to create different shape features. Inside MyMCPS, underneath modules, you will find the following assignments. Assignment 18 and 2 versions of assignment 19. Everybody needs to do assignment 18. For assignment 19, if you got permission to use Tinkercad, you will do the regular version. And if you did not get permission, please do the alternative version. Let's take a look at assignment 18 real quick first. Assignment 18 is very straightforward. We used it as a warm-up. What you have to do is simply match the shape orthographic projections to the three-dimensional shape. So, for instance, shape number 4 here looks like a staircase from the front, like a rectangle with a hot hat on top of it from the side, and like a square with a corner missing from the top. This would be this shape right here, shape A. You need to match the rest of these. I believe in you. Good luck. Please make sure you turn it in by Wednesday at midnight. Let's go ahead and take a look at assignment 19. So assignment 19 is a little bit more involved, and it involves you using Tinkercad. You will have directions for how to get into Tinkercad here at the top. Many of us already did this last week, so if you've already been to Tinkercad, simply go to the website and log in with your school credentials, and you'll be right in our classroom there. Now, you do need to capture parts of your screen in order to submit to me. I've given you directions on how to do that for Chromebooks, Macs, and PCs right here. If you have trouble understanding or it's tricky to you, please send me an email and I'd be happy to work with you to figure out how to work your particular system. But I think these directions should hopefully explain it pretty well. What are we doing? We're making this shape right here, and then we're going to create a three-dimensional shape based on this orthographic projection. Now, for this particular shape, we're not going to be able to make it exact because of this slanted section that has measurements in it. There's unfortunately no good way to measure something at an angle in Tinkercad. You could create a shape a certain length and then tilt it, but that's a lot of extra work that I don't frankly need you guys to do. So long as you're close to this shape, you'll get full credit. Now, how would I recommend going about creating it? Well, my suggestion would be to start with a large box and then cut away from it to create your shape. So you can use the ruler tool right up here in the top right to change the various dimensions of our box. And I would, using this as a reference, create my length to be the total length here, which is 53. I would create my height to be 26. And I got that from adding this height and this height together, altogether 26. And lastly, the depth is also 26. So with all of our dimensions correct, we can now carve away from this shape to create our final answer. Now, the thing that might probably help you the most is positioning your initial shape at a corner of these two solid lines. This will let you count really easily because you know between here and here there's exactly 10 units, so it'll be easy to move things around in relations to this shape. Now the trickiest part is to create this slanted surface on the front. To do this, we need to measure from this edge straight down to this edge. I recommend taking a box and making it be kind of a guideline or a marker for where our edge will be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up right next to our shape here, and I'm going to raise it up 26 units so it sits right on top of our shape here. I'm going to move it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm using the arrow keys to move it precisely like that. And you can see right here, we've just measured 5 units away from this back edge to here. Now we want to go ahead and create a line which cuts from this corner to this corner straight. More sophisticated CAD software would have an option for you to rotate a shape around an edge. So you could rotate this square around this edge down here at the bottom and stand it up until it touches over here. That would be the best way to do this. Unfortunately, Tinkercad doesn't let you do it, which is why we're going to approximate. It's not going to be exact. So the first thing to do, this is going to be our cutting shape, the shape we're going to use to cut away from our original block here. We want to go ahead and make it long enough where it will be extending at least as long as our shape. I made it longer, which is fine. And we want to make it tall enough that it will be at least as tall as the distance from this corner to this corner. I'm just guessing, it doesn't have to be exact. If it's taller than that, that's perfectly fine. So I just made it pretty tall here. Next thing you want to do is make this be a hole. You want to put it inside of your box, and then you're going to rotate it. Now from experimenting, I found that a pretty good place to rotate it is about 40 degrees. And since we're rotating it clockwise, we want to go ahead and put in a negative number. If you put in a positive, it'll rotate counterclockwise. So if I do negative 40, that's roughly the angle that I'm looking for. And now I just want to play with the shape and see if it matches up. So if I move it this way, I can see that it's going roughly through the corner, but is a little bit off over here. So that tells me I need to adjust my rotation maybe just a little bit. So maybe 2 degrees or so, and see if that fixes it. So you'll just have to play around with this and get it as best you can. It's never going to be perfect, because again, Tinkercad is a little bit limited here. So, you know, as best as you can get it, it's okay if it's not perfect or exact, but this is roughly what you want. Once you've got it, make sure to remove this top by deleting it, and then select both of these by dragging your mouse while holding down the click button and dragging across both of them to select them, and then clicking the combine group button over here. And that'll finalize your cut, creating this shape. I think that is the hardest part. I expect you to be able to figure out how to construct the rest of this on your own. If you have trouble, please send me an email, and I would be delighted to work with you with any problems you have. Also, don't forget there is a material distribution happening for our next project, and that's going to be occurring Thursday and Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you just stop by the school on the bus loop, you'll see personnel there handing out the materials. For our class, the materials are fairly common household objects, so you might not necessarily need to go. So you can find the list in the latest announcement for the class. So check this and see if you can scrounge these up. You need 20 popsicle sticks, 4 rubber bands, 2 paper clips, and some sticky tape. If you already have those or can get them easily without going to the distribution, you don't have to come. There will be an alternative assignment if you absolutely can't make it and don't have the materials. But again, the alternative assignment will not be as fun. So I highly recommend you go and pick up these things, and I'll see you guys all next week. Thank you very much.